we had looked at this property for quite some time. We lived right on downtown here in Georgetown, and so the gentleman had been vacant for a while, and quite frankly, we were up in Polly's when the pandemic hit. And of course, March 17th, 2020, when the governor announced that all restaurants were closed, put us out of business, unfortunately. And so I talked to the gentleman who owned this property, and I said, look, we have everything it needs to do a restaurant, but we need a place to have a restaurant. And so he really helped us out with the building, getting it prepared and getting us open. So we opened on May 4th in 2020 with 5 employees, and we were doing just carry-out only. And that happened for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then of course they said you can do patio dining, and so we started doing that. And before you know it, in the first year we ended up having 57 employees and full-service restaurant going on here in Front Street. So we were blessed, and the folks in Georgetown really embraced us and embraced our food. So we couldn't have asked for anything better, quite frankly.
But the success you had at the SoCo Grill made you say, we could have a steakhouse.
Yeah, we did, and actually one of my, the guy I do a little business with in property, I leased a couple of his buildings. He bought the building where the old Atlantic House used to be, and he approached me, he says, Greg, what do you want to do? The restaurant's here. And so my wife and I talked about it, and we kind of came to the conclusion that Georgetown needed an upscale restaurant. And steakhouses are very popular right now, chop houses. And of course, at one time we had the Rice Patty here, which is an excellent restaurant, and we felt that building was a good fit for it. Smaller seating, didn't need to have a ton of people in there. Out back, we enclosed it in glass, and it's a beautiful, beautiful setting with the fountain back there and all the good lighting. And of course, the inside, the bar being copper topped, it just looks like a little bit more New York style inside, more Charleston style out back. But we have an excellent chef over there, and so between Chelsea and myself, we put a menu together, and people seem to like the food. Unfortunately, over the time that we've been open in a little over a year, we've had to kind of lay off on the steak side a little bit because, as everybody knows, beef prices are just through the roof. And I don't think anybody wants to spend $100 for a steak every day. So we have a lot more seafood on the menu now, duck breast, quail, a bunch of other good stuff. And people really enjoy the food, the ambiance, and just the look of the restaurant.
And because of the success of SoCo Grill and the Chop House, you said people need a new pizza place.
Yes, indeed.
So we've got that coming. Tell us about...
We do. The same gentleman I do business with in real estate bought the building next door to the Chop House. And so we talked about that, and he's really enthralled with wood-fired pizza. So we kind of met a couple times and decided that wood-fired pizza would be perfect for Georgetown, which it is. We've got some good pizza restaurants here in Georgetown that have been around for a long time, but nobody's doing wood-fired pizza, and it's an entirely different animal. And so we're excited about it. We've got an Italian wood-fired pizza oven that we purchased, and we'll also have 15 TVs in there. We'll have 20 craft beers on tap. It'll be very family-friendly. We're putting a big Pac-Man game in the corner and painting Pac-Mans on the floor for the kids, and a little bit of hopscotch at the door when you come through. So it's going to be a neat and exciting restaurant. We are hoping, due to some construction woes, we're a little delayed, but we're hoping sometime, maybe July or August, we'll be open there.
Now, wood-fire pizza, kind of explain what the difference is between, what we know as pizza in Georgetown and wood-fire pizza.
Well, wood-fire pizza is going to give you a little more of a smoky flavor, and it's going to crisp up the crust really, really big time. So you're going to have some little bit of char on the crust, which, quite frankly, a lot of folks nowadays with the grilling out and all these different barbecues going on, char is good. And so, with that, it's a really high temperature oven. It'll be about 1100 degrees, and we have enough space to do 14 pizzas at a time, and we'll turn pizzas out in 90 seconds each.
Wow.
So it's really flash cooking at its highest temperature that we could do without burning things. So it's going to be exciting pizzas. We're doing all type of, you can build your own, of course, but we're doing some things like a duck confit pizza and a pork carnitas pizza and a barbecue chicken pizza. Of course, we'll have a vegetarian pizza, and we will be offering gluten-free dough as well as dairy-free cheese. So we're trying to accommodate everybody in their needs here in the community. So we're excited about that. And then, the SoCo Grill itself, we just started franchising it back in January. And so we found that people were coming to town and said, Greg, put one of these in Florence, put one of these in Sumner for us. We'd love to have one in Columbia. And I said, we're only one little team here, and it's hard for us to, to jockey out of this area and do other restaurants. So we came up with the idea of franchising, and I feel like that's a good concept for us to franchise. The SoCo Grill concept during the pandemic and even afterwards was kind of a hometown feel, good comfort food, everything homemade and fresh on the menu. We don't have freezers, so we make everything from scratch every single day. And like my mama's meatloaf, which was my mom's recipe, and Granny's pot roast, and of course the baby back ribs, and then we have corn fritter casserole and collard greens and mac and cheese, squash casserole, all those good southern, warm comfort items that you had, at grandma's supper table on Sundays. So we found after we opened our first franchise in York, South Carolina, back in January, the store is smaller than this one and doing the same numbers. And so we realized that 200 miles away, people still like the SoCo concept, the SoCo food. The inside of the building is the same look, the same colors, same pictures on the wall. So we're anticipating over the next 10 years possibly doing about 20 to 25 franchises.
Wow.
And this year alone, we'll have 2 more that we're doing in the fall. One might be as early as the summer. We're looking at a location in the Outer Banks right now in the town of Duck. So I was just up there last week. It's a great restaurant. It's still open and running. So we're possibly going to be able to do that one in June before the pizza place. And then we have another one we're going to be doing in the fall up in Manning, South Carolina.
So when people leave Georgetown and they say, man, I don't want to leave because I love the SoCo Grill in Georgetown, they can find it on their trip to Charlotte?
They sure can.
To Manning? So,
ironically, I have people that live in York that come here to visit and are like, oh, we just ate at the York restaurant last week. And vice versa. They'll go back to York and they'll tell them, oh, we just ate at the SoCo down on Front Street last week. So there's a lot of similarities between the towns. First of all, they're both about the same population, historic towns, the whole 9 yards. But it's interesting how people kind of migrate throughout the Carolinas and go to the same towns over and over again. So that's kind of our deal. We don't want to get too big. We want to keep it in the Carolinas is really where our focus is. And so we believe that, like I said, small town feel restaurant that'll go very well in some of the smaller historic towns throughout the Carolinas.